So to explain how cryptocurrency works, you have to realize that the money behaves in a different way than what we're used to in like a normal fiat transactional currency like the United States dollar. So with the dollar, everybody has a wallet, and in that wallet you would have bills or you would have cards that have access to money that is really held at the bank. Well, with cryptocurrency, the strange thing about it is that people can have a wallet on their computer. They can have a hardware wallet that's offline, but the coins are not in those wallets. The coins, or the units of value for each of these cryptocurrencies, is actually stored on the blockchain. So it's a little bit different because what a blockchain is it's essentially a public record of everybody's transactions. So if you were to take our normal usage of the United States dollar and turn it into a cryptocurrency, you would have a bank account that anybody could log into, and everybody could see everybody's name and how much money they had in the bank. So that's how it would work if it was the United States dollar. Cryptocurrency is exactly the same way. Anybody can look at the public blockchain. You can Google it. You can download a node and verify it for yourself. But on that blockchain is a record of everybody's address and how much money they have. So it doesn't have your name on it, and it doesn't have any personal identifying information, but it has a what they call a public address, which is essentially a number or a string of characters in hexadecimal format. So it's letters and numbers. And so there's a ton of these letters and numbers, and then there are values, and everybody has a copy of it. So how does that make sense, right? Because you're like, hey, I wanted to buy a Litecoin. So I own a Litecoin. You're telling me that Litecoin isn't in my wallet. If I log into my account, or if I look at my hardware wallet, I see one Litecoin in there. How could you say that that's not in my wallet? Well, the software behind your wallet goes into that blockchain and shows you what belongs to the addresses on your wallet. And so the money lives out in public, and the wallet addresses are essentially a pseudo-anonymous way of having value out there. If you can connect a wallet address with an identity, then you know who has what money. So you really can see how much people have if you know what they have in their wallet address. So this is kind of a basis for understanding how it works. So now how do you spend it, right? Because a cryptocurrency does nothing, or a digital currency does nothing if you can't transfer that value to someone else. So that's where the wallet comes in. The wallet has a private key, which is the only place where you have permission to move the coins in addresses you own to somebody else's address. So that's where you get the power from. You have the ability to send. So everyone can see how much money everyone has, but nobody has permission to move coins off of all of those other addresses because they need the private key. And that private key is what gives you the ability to move those coins. So you plug in a hardware wallet, and you sign a transaction of, I'm going to move this many coins to another address, and I'm signing it with my private key, which is encrypted in a way that nobody knows what your private key is. Once that hits the blockchain, all of the computers that have a copy of this blockchain, they're able to verify that that is a true signed valid transaction, and eventually it will move the coins from that one address to the other, and all the computers will update their database. So that's a very simplistic way of imagining how this works. So it's almost like, let's say you're on an island and there's a rock that everyone wrote down, how much money they have. Well, if I want to give money to someone else, I go up to the rock, and in the everyone can validate that I own that line on the rock, and I change the amount that I have, and I give my amount to someone else. Everyone looks at it, agrees, and it's public. Everybody knows that I've moved some value over to someone else. So it's pretty interesting how that all works. Well, the way it's kept private is by this private key. That way everyone has the ability to spend and transact in the economy, and no thieves can come and take away your money, because they need your private key in order to do that. They can't just rearrange the database, because that database, the blockchain, is redundant thousands of times all over the world. So hopefully that clarifies quite a few things. The one thing that people ask as far as how a cryptocurrency works is how then is the currency limited? Because if there were infinite amounts of Bitcoin, the value of them would essentially be zero, because they're too prevalent. Well, the software and the database essentially tells how many Bitcoins are in existence currently. And miners are the ones that are validating the transactions and approving them for submission to the blockchain, and everyone updates the blockchain because of that mining. So it's not too difficult of a concept, but I think that might clarify some things for those of you who are wondering how it works.